Carry a firearm and discharge your weapon in self-defense, you could face hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees and expenses. So carry the protection of CCW Safe, Self-Defense Legal Services membership. Upfront payment of all criminal and civil defense costs with no out-of-pocket for members. Unlimited defense budgets, unmatched legal expertise. Carry the same level of support police officers have. Carry CCW Safe, the highest caliber.
And we are back. I'm Chris Heaven, the CEO of Survival Dispatch and the Chief Revenue Officer of Vax Choice Inc. Joined today by my good friend Jeff O'Donnell. How you doing, Jeff?
Doing just fine there, sir. How are you?
Living the dream, like you.
Aren't we all?
Isn't that why we all live in Florida, to live the dream down here?
I think so, yeah.
All right, so we're going to just jump right into this. For those of you who haven't met Jeff on Survival Dispatch News in the past, Jeff is the programmer extraordinaire who wrote the software that we showcased on November the 5th and had election results before everybody else. So instead of me explaining it in my terms, Jeff, go ahead and explain what you built and actually why you built this as well, just before we kick off with the Liberty Club stuff.
Well, thank you. Yes, I've been going after our election data and examining it and shredding it and whatever is possible ever since I got a little dog visit me, ever since the election of 2020. And one of the things that I became very interested in is the election night reporting that takes place. That's how the numbers get to your TV as you're sitting watching it.
Okay.
And so what I did was I built a system where you could watch in basically real time. In a lot of cases, we were leading the networks by as much as almost an hour as far as what they would admit to as far as the numbers. And so I built this system actually for every election since, but 2024 kind of took it to a new level. Did all 50 states at once, and a lot of people found it useful, including you, Chris, I guess. And it just allowed people to see exactly how the votes were being added. And now that it obviously stores all the data, and you can go back and look and see for any race that they reported on, which is almost all of them. For any race they reported on, you can see at any period of the night, any point of the night, at any time, how many votes were added from what counties in some cases. It's a very, very useful research tool.
Yeah, so we broadcast for 10 hours that night, and we had 30,000 people at the peak coming from half a dozen different platforms watching our broadcast, and they all asked the same question: who are you guys and where did you get this data? and we were tracking it an hour in many cases, thanks to your hard work, and it was awesome. We were able to breathe a sigh of relief much earlier than everybody else as we saw the elections rolling into your software. So the reason I showed Jeff's tool that he created here is just to give you an idea of his abilities. This was no small undertaking. It was a couple-year project to pull everything in real time, and the amount of data that is going back and forth is phenomenal. He had a bunch of windows open showing the traffic, and it was so fast you couldn't even read it. But in addition to Jeff being a very accomplished programmer, he's also a very skilled systems and network engineer, which is my background coming from high tech. So Todd Callender teamed us up together. We have another guy in our team named Farron, who's now halfway around the world. He just flew out of the country a few days ago. Want to give him a nod as well for some of the custom coding that he did. But at the end of the day, there's a very specific reason that Todd Callender asked us to build Liberty Club. And as you can probably tell when you land on the website, freedom of speech is a key component of that. But essentially, the order of events that happen here, and Jeff and I were discussing this earlier, if the 2020 election had not been stolen and we had not been subject to COVID tyranny, Jeff and I and Todd Callender, we probably would have never met. So it's interesting how things unfolded. But Todd's a very high-level national level attorney. He's argued cases in front of the Supreme Court. He sued Lloyd Austin, the DOD, over the thing that many of the troops didn't want. I have to be careful what I say because we're currently broadcasting at 8 different platforms, and 2 of them in particular are still problematic when it comes to freedom of speech. Anyway, that prompted Todd as well to find a way to get the word out on all of these things that were being censored, whether it be censored by the Biden admin, big media, which is just a propaganda arm, or big tech as well. So there's a gentleman who was named Jeff Brain, and Jeff Brain started a platform called CloudHub, and here's what it looks like. And unfortunately, Jeff had a stroke and a cerebral hemorrhage, which I don't know that you'll find much information on this online, but I was told that it was due to that same thing that you stick in your shoulder that kind of looks like a pen, but different. And basically, Todd ended up buying CloudHub to use as a tool, a mechanism to spread the word, but also in pursuit of freedom of speech, especially when all the major platforms, like Jeff pointed out, January 7th, 2021, they went on a tear and took a bunch of conservatives and patriots off of social media across the board. They also opened up meaning the big tech platforms opened up their platforms to multiple governments and government agencies around the world, where they could go in and they could delete users, they could censor users, they could shadow ban users, they could get information on users and then show up at their door like they're doing in the UK and Germany these days if you're guilty of wrongthink or anything along those lines. So Todd had very altruistic purposes for purchasing CloudHub. And here's a story on Jeff Brain, the founder of CloudHub, dies after being injured in a tragic accident. The accident really, again, is related to this thing that they were sticking in people's shoulders. But suffice it to say that Jeff Brain started on CloudHub about 6 years ago now, and a lot has happened in the tech world since then. And I'm fond of saying, Jeff, the only thing that stays the same in the tech world is that nothing stays the same. So CloudHub is a workhorse, is probably the best way to describe it for people who want to stream their videos and not be censored and all of that good stuff. But Todd came to me a while ago and asked if we could put together a team to build a next generation social media website that has all the bells and whistles that people expect today, but keeping it relatively simple to work inside of. So I want to make one more point here on the topic of the 2020 election. So Jeff O'Donnell here started to film some content on the fraud that happened in 2020 with fabricated elections and election results and votes and all that sort of stuff. And, you know, for anybody who still hasn't got their head wrapped around how massive the fraud was in 2020, if you look at Barack Obama, his first election and second election, then you look at Hillary Clinton, then skip forward to Kamala Harris, they all had somewhere 65, 68 million votes in that range. But we're to believe that in 2020, Joe Biden won 16% of the counties and got 81 million votes. And here we are in 2025. We go back to November 5th of last year. And where did the 15 million votes go? You know, how did the Democrats all of a sudden go from 65, 66, 67 million votes to 81 million votes? But all those votes evaporated in 2024, and they evaporated because they weren't real. It was a massive amount of fraud. So, Jeff, before we move on, just because this is a key motivating factor for you to restore a high element of freedom of speech, tell our audience about the Fingerprints of Fraud docu-series, because it's more than one movie.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah, I mean, on November 3rd, they took away our vote, and on January 7th and days after, they took away our voice. And I started, looking at every piece of data I could find. I did the report on Mesa County, Colorado, the whole Tina Peters mess out there. And I decided early last year that I should document everything that I personally had found that was wrong and fraudulent in the election. And I remember when I first started, I thought, well, I hope I can fill like a half hour or 45 minutes. What ended up was after it's cut down, a 3-hour documentary, which is actually in 7 parts. So 7 easily, like half hour or so parts are easy to go that all focus on a different type of issue. For instance, the first one's the registrations, the second one is the machines, the third is the stupid mail-in voting, etc. So I put that together, as I said, late 23, early 24. And it's been released. It's almost about to reach its first birthday out there. And I do, it's the point now, anybody asks me a question, I just refer them to one or another chapter of this documentary, because it's everything, most things that I have to say are in there. So Fingerprints of Fraud, the movie.com.
Yeah, appreciate that, Jeff. I mean, incredible job that you did on that, by the way. So I've got a couple people in the chat right now that are saying that they're not able to watch the stream on our platform. I'm watching it happen right in front of me here. So we're not sure what the problem is. But worst case scenario, you can always go to our Rumble channel or YouTube channel for Survival Dispatch. But again, I'm watching the broadcast right now as it goes. So let's just jump into some of the functionality, Jeff. We won't get super technical here or anything like that, but this is what the homepage of Liberty Club looks like. We've got end-to-end encryption. Todd's very focused on privacy and security. So that was kind of a must-have. But the one comment that we've got from people is how easy it is to use the platform. So this isn't meant to be like a how-to session, but to be honest with you, I haven't had to provide instruction to any of the 150 beta testers that we've had on the system. So as you can see here, say what's on your mind, a simple composer box. If you wanted to post a video, you can post a URL to the video, or you can upload it. The same goes with any other type of content. You'll see across the bottom here, you can post pictures, music, videos. You could do polls, other attachments like PDF files, GIFs for funny reactions, or just a regular text post. And that's literally it. You fill in what you want to put out there and up it goes. But I'd like to point something out because of the way we've built this interface with no sidebars. It's to keep a distraction-free interface for people. And what that basically means is that you don't see anything on either side like you do on some other sites. But we provided some really powerful filters here. So if you only want to see what's coming from your friends, you can click that button, click apply, and it'll refresh so you only see what's coming from your friends. If you want to only see your own posts, or you want to see new posts, you can select those as well. So you can have a lot of control over what appears in what's called the stream. So the main page would be called the stream here. And I'm just going over to check out our live streams. Yeah, so I just switched over to a couple other platforms and was able to confirm that I can view the stream on our homepage just fine. So one of the other things that we have is a group chat. So I'm talking to some of the people here right now. We're going to integrate the group chat into the group pages. For now, for this broadcast in particular, we're on the Survival Dispatch group, and you'll see that in the top menus right here, groups, easy to get to. And then you have options to see, the messages, whatever the stream items are, like posts that we've made, those sort of things. But one of the things that we did at the request of Todd is bottom left corner here, we provide translation to other languages. So for example, if somebody selects Germany, you'll notice that all of the text in the entire interface just changed to German. And if we wanted to go to, say, Dutch, for example, there it is. We have quite a few languages in here. We can add more languages, easy enough. So if your primary language is something other than English and you don't see your language in here, you can just send us a note. We'll be happy to add that to the list. And you can see how fast it is as far as switching from one interface or one language to the other, pardon me. From a communications perspective, not only do we have audio, video, and text messaging, but we can do it for individuals or groups. So the group chats are automatic. If you have a channel or a group, it gets added. You don't have to add this to the feature. Jeff's going to stitch it in together when people are doing their live streams. but we can also do video conferencing. And right now we've got a limit of 16 people on one particular call. So it's not just one group doing one call. It's as many people as you want can be on your own video chats, but 16 per each one of those individual ones. We're using a pretty badass third-party service that allows us to do that, basically. Beyond that, the channels are very similar to YouTube. At the end of the day, what we did is we took the best of X, the best of Facebook, the best of YouTube and Rumble, got rid of the stuff that people don't use or that people complain about, and put together the main stuff. Another example you'll see in the menu bar is the marketplace up top. So this is just like Facebook's marketplace, eBay, a lot slicker looking than eBay is. And beyond that, if you go to your name, there's all kinds of stuff under the menus. You can get direct support, open trouble tickets. Everything is available under this menu, but it's really that easy. And again, this wasn't intended to be, a how-to, but the one comment that we've got from people over and over again is the user interface is really, really easy to use. Jeff, do you want to speak to any of the features and usability?
Just that to amplify what you said, Chris, it is, I think we found a good point there between simple and powerful. It does the things that we need to do, that we do all the time. It does them extremely, extremely well, and it's very easy to figure out how to use them. I think that this is it's going to be a great tool to everyone out there who wants to get word out, wants to share information, and wants to do it in a way, again, that's not going to be censored, and it. In some ways, I look at this, kind of getting back to the why we're doing this is that, had we had a platform like this in late 2020, early 2021, there might have been a very, very different story written about everything. Yes. And yeah, it is just, I think it's, it's very clean, and it lets you, there's a lot of flexibility in there with the groups and the channels, and that will basically it's a playground for you watching this to be creative about how you not only share information, but how you keep track of other people's information. So I'm personally very happy with it.
Yeah, without being suppressed, right? So.
Without being suppressed. That's the big deal.
So a lot of people have asked us over the past month, what algorithm are you using? And we're not using any algorithm. There is no favoritism. There's no censorship. There's no suppression, none of that stuff. And we wanted to run it organically just to see how things kind of bubble up to the top, so to speak. So with regards to memberships, I want to share this. So when you go through the sign up process, so basically when you land on Liberty Club, if you click the button that says join now, it's free. You'll put in your email address and the password that you want, and then you'll be led to this screen here, and you can select a level. So we have a free level, and then we have 3 levels: basic, premium, premium plus, much like X, and you can do them annually or monthly. And they're pretty cheap. The basic one's $2.99 a month, or you can pay for 10 months and get 12 months. You get 2 months for free, so $29.90 per year. The premium is $11.99, or you can pay $119 a year. Again, basically you're paying for 10 months. You get 12 months. You get 2 extra for free. And then our premium plus, which is the biggest package, is $29.99 a month. And if you all didn't catch this, by the way, X is now $40 a month. So it's gone up in price dramatically, and they're saying that's primarily because of Grok and the power it takes to run Grok and their AI, and we're not going down that path. We really want to provide freedom of speech as opposed to AI stuff like Grok and whatnot. So coming soon, we're going to be lighting up the e-commerce website or web portion of it. If you're a vendor and you want to get your products on that e-com, send an email to support@survivaldispatch.com, and we'll work with you on that. And then the next thing after that is we have a mobile app coming. for Android and iOS, but it'll be in the USA and Canada only. Reason being is I'm not an attorney. Todd Calendar's an attorney. When you make an application available for download, you're confessing jurisdiction. So if I understand Todd properly, essentially what that means is that you could be sued in every country where there's an app, and Todd's okay with his group of attorneys defending Liberty Club in Canada and the United States, but doesn't want to extend that around the world. But the mobile interface is really slick, easy to use. It's nice and fast. And that's about it. So really today we just wanted to announce that we are live now on libertyclub.net. We have negotiations to try and secure libertyclub.com, by the way, but it's looking like maybe the person who owns that has passed away, but we're still going through that process. So it's .net, not .com, libertyclub.net. Oh, one more thing I forgot to show, Jeff. There's a button down here in the bottom corner, and with one click, you can turn it into a light colored interface if you prefer, or you can click it and turn it into a dark interface. Myself, I prefer the dark because I've had a lot of eye surgery, so the brightness gets to my eyes a little bit, but it's virtually instantaneous. Jeff, is there anything else you would like to add?
Well, again, I want to point out the fact, I think it's very important, there are no algorithms there. Knowing completely what the back end is, if we wanted to shadow ban someone, we couldn't. Frankly, there's no ability intentionally for that to happen, and I think that's a very big point.
That's a great point. Actually, we do not have the software on this site to do anything of the nature at all. So I appreciate that.
It is truly a fair. This is a fair game. That's the way to put it here. Yeah. Good
choice of words, Jeff. Absolutely. All right. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to hang out in the chat. So if you go to libertyclub.net, you'll see the post that has this video embedded, and there's a link to the group chat. And I'm going to jump over there and answer any questions that y'all may have. But other than that, I'll be back tonight at our usual time, Survival Dispatch News at 7 p.m. Eastern, 7 days a week. And Liberty Club, I'm sure, will be part of the conversation tonight as well. If you need any help, use the support link. That'll open a trouble ticket for you, and we'll get you fixed up as soon as possible. But other than that, Jeff, appreciate all your hard work that you've put into this. And Farron and Keith behind the scenes as well. We should thank him. And, of course, Todd Callender for facilitating this.
Chris, you carried much of this load, and you did a tremendous job. So.
Well, I appreciate your kind words. I haven't slept in I don't know how long, but we're here. So, all right, that's it. I appreciate everybody and their support. Appreciate your time, Jeff. We'll be back tonight, like I said, 7 p.m. Eastern. Until then, please like, share, comment, subscribe, and God bless America. Got a great video to end this out, by the way.
We are on a mission to restore the Republic to greatness. Our MAGA movement is the greatest political movement in the history of our country. Together we are taking on some of the most menacing forces and vicious opponents our people have ever seen, some of them from within. But no matter how hateful and corrupt the communistic criminals we're fighting against may be, you must never forget this nation does not belong to them. This nation belongs to you. It belongs to you. Never, ever, ever give up. All of this is within our reach as long as we have the courage to stick together, stand firm against all attacks, and see this mission through to ultimate victory.